Hi, it's time for Good Energy, and I'm Dr. Julie, and I'm coming to you a little early today because, as you can see, we have some white stuff. And today we're talking about touch and the sense of cold, so I figured I'd make use of it before it went away. So, just to let you know, today is day 32. We're talking about touch and how cold or cold therapy, or in this case, snow therapy, can get you back into your body. All right, let's start with our basics. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath in and release. Deep breath in, coming from all the way down to the bottom of your lungs, all the way up to the top. Deep breath in. And release. And one more. Think about all your stressors and your gunk. Deep breath in. And release. I'm feeling a little bit over my diaphragm today. Mostly just because I haven't gotten out for my walk, and usually the walk is my thing that kind of calms my body down. Well, today we're going to use a different approach to calming the body down. We are going to use cold therapy. Now, normally I would pop out of my boots here and jump into the snow with you, but I have poor circulation in my hands and feet. So I am going to do this at the very end so that you can hear me squeal. But before I do that, let's talk about some of the science. All right, so we know that color can change the immune system from yesterday and from previous days. We know that sound can change the nervous system. We know that touch can change the nervous system. We know that vestibular, so opening up, balance, all of these things can change the nervous system. Today we're going to talk about cold, and we actually did an episode on cold already, and that was dealing with drinking cold liquids and how that calms your heart rate down. So we already know that cold therapy has an ability to calm the body, but this is cold therapy on the skin, not internally. So what do we know about cold in terms of the skin? Well, we know it brings down inflammation. So interestingly, one of my first experiences with cold therapy, and actually finding that it does a really amazing thing, was when I was in college. We got whole bunch of us got a terrible sunburn in Sarasota. And we ended up going to my great uncle's pool, which was, normal pool temperature, about 80. And we sat in that pool for about 3 hours. And instead of having a terrible sunburn, because we had been in the water for 3 hours, our sunburn was totally gone. So all of us who have burned our fingers on the broiler or burned our skin on the broiler, we put cold on there. It has a tendency to reduce inflammation, which is always great. As a parent, of course, I know that when you've got a screaming toddler during the middle of winter and they haven't been outside for a long time, just taking them and throwing them out the door and saying, deal with this, is usually enough. The shock of the cold air is usually enough for them to kind of choke back their nervous system enough to calm down. And interestingly, I swear it was the bell jar, but I may be wrong. I'm sure that in the bell jar, Sylvia Plath talks about having been wrapped up in cold blankets when she was having an episode. And blanket therapy was actually a therapy that was used in psychiatric hospitals to calm nervous systems down and calm patients down. So we know that cold on the skin has a calming effect. So today we're going to do a little bit of cold therapy. All right, so I'm going to switch the camera around and you get to see this lovely snow. And here is me popping out of my boots. I will tell you, I am not overly thrilled to do this, but it is cold therapy. It is going to shock my nervous system. And when we go into this idea, here we go. When we go into this idea of use it or lose it, humans have been kind of squishy. We've been indoors. We haven't been outside. We haven't kind of got our nervous systems jazzed up and dealing with cold so much. So sometimes cold therapy, especially like this, is enough to kind of get the system going again and get us a little bit more resilient. All right, if you can do this for a minute, that would be a great way to just reset the system. I unfortunately can only do it for 30 seconds because they are killing me. All right. Um, so, it's cold therapy. You know, we've been doing this almost a lot of the days when I've been doing this. I've been telling you that it's a lot of use it or lose it. And we have gotten squishy in our modern society. And so getting out in the cold and getting your feet in the snow or sitting in a cold bath or hopping in a cold river is actually good for the body. I'm going to come up with I'll have a blog post on this next week about cold therapy and what cold can do. But the idea is that if we don't use it, our body stops producing things that are good that it would usually adapt to in the cold. All right. After laughing at my cold toes, let's go ahead and take a deep breath in. And release. Well, I am feeling much better. My feet are not, but I am feeling much better. But maybe I just need to adapt. I need to get out in the cold more so that they're used to being cold and I'm not so much of a wuss. All right, take care. I'll see you tomorrow.